Brain injury. So we've got, that includes sports injuries, repeated heading of the ball if you're a soccer player. Like me, I was a rugby player, so I was in scrums and things like that, bashing my head all the time. In fact, I remember hitting the post a few times. When I was in junior school, I think I even was climbing up on those trapezium bars, and I was upside down, and then my legs left the bar, and I fell straight on my head and ended up being taken to hospital. Coming around after being concussed and that. So I don't know how old I was, 7, 8, that sort of age. So that's what we're going to be talking about now, brain injury. So the biggest study, virtually any study that's ever been done about dementia, was done in Denmark some years ago, and they studied 2.8 million people over 36 years, a 36-year period, and studying people with traumatic brain injuries. And they discovered all those people, and over all those years, anyone who had a traumatic brain injury or repeated brain injury had a much higher rate of developing dementias, any sort of dementias, than those that didn't have the injury or repeated playing sports and things like that. They also did a sub-study on it where the rate of dementia chance in the rate of dementia increased by the number of traumatic injuries or repeated injuries that these subjects had. Yeah, and they came to the conclusion, or the study showed, the figures showed that if you have a traumatic brain injury or repeated brain concussions and things like that through sports or whatever, then you have a 24% more risk of developing dementia in later life. 24%, so that's a fifth of 20, well, nearly 25%. That's like a quarter, isn't it? Not a fifth. This is what dementia does. It messes with your figures. Anyway, but you get the gist of it. It's quite high for traumatic. So there's obviously something happened in a brain injury that stays there for decades even, and then comes out, say, in late life, and shows itself up as dementia. So look after your brain in early life and look after your brain all the time, but certainly especially in the earlier life when you're likely to be introduced to more physical contact sports. I know the schools nowadays are stopping contact sports, so they're more of a touch thing, so things are being looked at it, but what a huge percentage, 26% or something, more risk. Wow, I didn't realise it was that much, because I played rugby and all sorts, and I fell on my head, so I'm going to give myself 1 point for this particular repeated brain injury one, as being a key marker for getting dementia in later life.